Hello, and welcome back to the Mortgage and Protection Podcast. And Paul is here again to continue the conversation on mortgages for self employed dentists. Hi, Paul. Are you all right?
Hello, I
Hello.
am. Funny,
Yeah,
when you just said that, I thought I really do need to actually go to the dentist. So that's
really.
almost like this is a bit of marketing for them as well. It's like a
It
two-way
is. Yeah.
bit of
And a
content,
sign. And a sign
Yeah,
there as well. There we go. Okay, well
here
let's
we are.
see. Let's see if we can help the dentists out before they help you. So are you ready to answer some more questions?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so people would also like to know then what factors should self employed dentists consider when choosing between fixed rate and variable rate mortgages?
Right, so fixed versus variable is
Mm,
really certainty versus flexibility. So fixed rate is going to give you that stability. You know exactly what your payments are going to be each month. And
mm,
that's going to be really valuable if your income fluctuates or if you're self-employed, people tend to want that element of security.
mm,
A variable rate, however, that's often going to come with much more flexibility. Sometimes it can even be lower rates initially, but your repayments aren't going to be fixed and
mm,
they can vary depending on the market and what the Bank of England base rate is going to do. So we tend to find people from self-employed or professional sense, especially earlier on in their careers,
mm,
that that certainty of a fixed rate can give them that peace of mind. It's not always the case, but
mm.
that's the toss up between the two.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. So hopefully that explains the differences there, and that's useful. Now, moving on to this question. So, what are the potential impacts of fluctuating income on the mortgage options available to self employed dentists?
Yeah. Okay. So leading on from that, the
Yeah.
fluctuating income side of things, it's going to affect both potentially how much you can borrow, which lenders are available. Lenders tend to look for that consistency that we touched on in part one. So if your income varies a lot from
Mm,
year to year, some lenders may take an average of that, or even in some cases, the lower of the two, especially if it's on a downward trend.
mm,
But there are going to be lenders who are more comfortable with those professional applicants like dentists and they're going to take a more balanced approach, especially if there's if they've got that clear upward trend, which a lot of people
mm.
in those roles can have.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully that's clear there now. Right, Paul, this is a really interesting question. So, are there any specific requirements or qualifications necessary for mortgage advisors specialising in mortgages for self employed dentists?
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
Like an additional kind of dentist's
yeah,
proficiency,
I think
like a
so.
pass plus.
Yes, definitely.
From
Um,
a regulatory point of view,
mhm,
all mortgage advisors in the UK are generally going to be qualified with a CMAP qualification or something that's equivalent.
mm,
Beyond that, the difference really is going to come down to experience or whether or not you niche. I don't know anyone that niches in dentists, but it's
mm,
really the structure of how that pay and income is received rather than the dentist bit that the lenders are going to be focusing on. So
mm,
understanding little things like retained profits, partnership incomes, and how dentists are going to be structured financially is what separates a good advisor from a not so good advisor,
mm,
and someone that sort of has a little bit more gusto in that arena. Basically, is what you'd be looking for, in my
mm.
opinion.
Okay. Good answer there, I think. That makes
Thanks.
sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully, we've put some dentists' minds at ease there. Right.
Yeah,
Let's.
I like that dentists are focused on, whether or not people are qualified. That's a new one,
I
but
mean,
interesting nonetheless.
well, I suppose they have to be very qualified, don't they, in what they
Exactly.
do? So
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
They need a match there. Now, we've probably touched on a little bit of this in our part one episode, but can you explain how self employed dentists can improve their chances of obtaining a favourable mortgage deal or a more suitable mortgage deal for them?
Yeah. Okay, so a few key things that are going to likely make a big difference around those sort of concerns.
Mm,
We touched on keeping your accounts up to date, keeping them well prepared, showing that consistency and hopefully that income on an upward trend,
mm,
maintaining that strong credit profile and building that solid deposit, whether that's going to be savings or even a gift, could be tied up equity in your property as well.
mm,
Um, and if we add to that, maybe potentially avoiding really big financial changes right before you're applying for your mortgage as well, like
Mm,
taking on a new debt or buying even a new, a new car on this
mm,
side of the mortgage application rather than the other can really help keep things
yeah.
a little bit smoother through the application process too.
Mm. Okay, so some pointers there to be aware of. And we do have some crossover with some of these questions against our part one questions, but we do like to cover them all and they are just really popular. So
Yeah.
here's another one. What steps should self employed dentists take to prepare their finances before applying for a mortgage?
Yep. Okay. So as we always say, preparation is a
Mm,
huge factor for self-employed applicants, even more so than employed people. Go and get your last three pay slips, and
mm,
income-wise, you're covered. So we're usually going to suggest speaking to an advisor early to understand that borrowing potential, reviewing your accounts with your accountant, making sure that your intentions are all aligned,
mm,
making sure all of your tax returns are submitted on time and paying any tax that's due, reducing any unnecessary outgoings if possible as well. So
mm,
I think we're all a little bit guilty of having excessive subscriptions to things that we don't necessarily need or use
mm.
anymore, like that
Yep.
gym membership that we all signed up to in January,
Yep.
and just building a clear picture of your deposit situation and your costs, really having a good understanding of the overall financial position is going to be really helpful for you.
Mm,
Um, and it's just going to improve not only your chances, but also the experience because
mm.
nobody wants to be told off by a mortgage broker for their, decisions and choices over the last 3 months when they could have spoken 3 months earlier and
Yeah.
put all their ducks in a row and had a really enjoyable experience together.
Mm. Yes, very true there. So, again, some top tips to take away from the episode. Right, we're getting through these questions. Let's move on. Are there any specific challenges self employed dentists might face during the mortgage application process? Is this where the documents might come into play?
Yeah, definitely around providing that income and consistency. It's always going to be where people tend to struggle.
Mm,
Like I touched on earlier, people are really busy. So getting all of those documents to hand, it can be time consuming. And once you've
mm,
done it properly once, it's easier going forwards. But even high earning dentists generally, we find that they're going to run into issues
mm,
if their income isn't structured the way it should be, or if it's really complex and not clearly evidenced. So that's where we constantly see people falling down. Another
mm,
challenge can be where lenders don't sort of fully understand how dental income works,
mm.
which is why choosing the wrong lender can be the death of an application.
Right.
So it's very important that you're looking at the right lenders.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. I feel like I'm saying there's a load of top tips here, but there is a lot. So
There's just so
hopefully
many top.
that's
I'm
useful.
just full of top
We're full
tips.
of them. There we go. And again, you might be with this next one. So, what advice would you give to self employed dentists regarding mortgage affordability and budgeting?
Yeah, okay. So this is always a big sort of touch point within any fact finding process.
Mm,
A lot of people want to sort of focus on the maximum they can borrow rather than what they can comfortably repay each month. With self-employment, income can vary. We don't know what's around the corner, especially with a
mm,
volatile marketplace.
yeah.
Income can vary from one month to the next. So it's quite sensible to build in a bit of breathing room
Mm,
and also factor things in like your tax payments, your business costs, any growth expansion plans that you have in the near future, and
mm,
maintaining that sort of safety buffer.
yeah.
And if you are new to self-employment, it's not always something that you're experienced in because you're used
Mm,
to having that consistent, guaranteed permanent income.
yeah.
So having a chat with the broker that sort of deals with these sorts of things day in and day out, it can be useful as well.
Mm,
And it's not just about making sure that the mortgage it works right now. It's about building in that kind of contingency,
mm,
a long term approach to the whole thing. I think is a
yeah.
sensible approach.
Mm. Okay, so something to be aware of there. Now, three questions left. So, can you provide examples of mortgage lenders that frequently work with self employed dentists? Now, I'm not sure if you can name, but are there many then that work
Yeah.
with self employed dentists?
There are quite a few lenders in the UK that are strong in that space. Yeah,
Mm,
some are even high street lenders. Some are not high street lenders. I can't say specialists. Some are
mm,
not high street lenders.
yeah.
And it depends on their sort of underwriting approach as to whether or not they're going to be particularly good at handling self-employed and professional applicants.
Mm,
Rather than it being about one specific lender, it's more about matching your specific individual circumstances
mm,
with that lender because of their criteria and because of their approach to your specific circumstance. So listing lenders
mm,
would be completely pointless and
yeah.
potentially disruptive, because
Mm,
that's not the point.
mm. Well, there we go. I think that answers that one. We'll move on.
Yeah.
um, Now, in your opinion, Paul, what are the advantages and disadvantages of using a mortgage broker like yourself when applying
Mhm.
for a mortgage as a self-employed dentist? I feel like you've demonstrated this throughout our
I
part one,
hope
part two
so. But
episodes.
if people have gone straight to this question, the main advantage is going to be the access to the wider range of lenders and the criteria.
Mm,
Not all lenders deal direct with the consumer.
mm,
We've got lots of lenders on our panel that will only take business from a regulated broker within that space. So instead of going to one bank, or hoping your bank understands your situation, a broker's going to assess all of those different options, find the lenders that are best suited for
mm.
self-employment, for dentists, and for you specifically. Um, Disadvantages. I'm going to be shooting myself in the foot here, aren't
Yeah,
I?
yes, yeah. We've set you up here, haven't
I
we,
mean,
Paul?
I know, this is a coup. I can't really think of anything. Well, look, you could argue that having to pay a fee could
Mm,
class as a negative to some people, and it does. But the fact is, I doubt very much the fee is ever going to outweigh
mm,
the benefits that you're going to get as a result of doing that. And unfortunately, I'll say unfortunately, you just pay for what you get in this world, don't you?
mm,
And if your circumstances are a little bit more technical, that's going to come with a cost if you're looking to get the best outcome.
mm.
Standard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll end on that note. We've covered everything really, haven't we, that we've got here.
I think so.
Have you got any final thoughts, or do you think, again, we've covered all that we can here?
So, just kind of summarising, we've gone over these points, but in
Mm,
summary, for specifically for self-employed dentists,
mm,
especially, it's not about whether the mortgage is possible. I don't think it's about how well it's presented and
mm.
which lender it's placed with.
Yeah.
So, finding a broker that's okay. So it's not about finding a broker that's good with dentists per
Mm,
se. It's more about finding a broker who's good with self-employment and
yeah.
understanding business structures and the things that lenders are going to focus on, not oral health specifically,
Yeah.
just the setup itself. So that's
Mm.
key, I think.
Okay. Brilliant. Well, that's a great place to end the episode on. Hopefully, that's proved useful to anyone listening to this, watching this video. Hopefully, it's proved useful. We best go get our teeth fixed now. Done.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
Um,
I hope I don't need a root canal, right?
oh my gosh, I know. You might have a lot of dentists now emailing in just for that.
Yeah.
Right, anyway. Oh dear. Hopefully it has all proved helpful anyway.
Hopefully.
So anyone listening, watching this, and Paul, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you, Tessa. See you soon.
See you soon.